Join Rick Hartley, Susie Webb, Stephen Chavez, Chuck Corley, Karen Burnham, Thomas Chester, and Charlene McCauley as the electronics industry's leading experts gather at PCB West 2025. Coming September 30th to October 3rd to the Santa Clara, California Convention Center. PCB West features more than 125 hours of in-depth electronics engineering training spread over more than 50 sessions, including 30 brand new classes. Sponsored by the Printed Circuit Engineering Association, PCB West features classes for every level of experience, from novice to expert. Registration is open at pcbwest.com. Don't miss PCB West 2025. Engineering tomorrow's electronics.
Mike Vito from PCEA. I'm here with Jeffrey Haslett of Freedom CAD and Matt Neary of Mid-Range Design. And our guest is Phil Gully from Cofactr.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be here.
I can tell.
Am I included?
Yes.
Now you are.
Now you are.
It's a podcast, and you just became included.
I didn't know if I was just censored.
No, you're here. You're the director of marketing?
Something like that.
VP of marketing.
VP of marketing. Sorry.
That's new.
You just got promoted?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
today,
Did that come with a pay raise?
Yes.
Good. Congratulations. She said that with such confidence, it feels like, I guess we're going with it.
It was a lie. It actually didn't, because the pay raises are.
It's
Retroactive.
Let's make this awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
had this
good
conversation.
podcast, everybody.
So how that's how things work at
No, because you do the performance evaluations, and then you do the any increase in salary based on the performance evaluation. Libby was like, Libby was like, you've made 2 hires. Those hires are VPs. I'm working on the same level as them. I feel like I need the title increase. It was like, totally, that makes all the sense in the world.
Hardest question first. How do you spell Cofactr?
Cofactr. So Cofactr, appropriately spelled, is I believe, a medical technology company, as it should be, because a cofactor is an inorganic, basically, catalyst to an organic process. So they have the name, which is right. Our idea was collaborative factory, sort of, we are the outsourced process.
Collaborative factory.
Right.
Cofactr.
Right, yeah. And
so why is there not an E on the end? Cofactory.
That's too much stuff. Cofactor's nice, it's tight, Cofactr.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're done.
That's exciting.
I feel like
what do you guys do?
So we are a supply chain risk management tool, but we provide services to our customers through 2 main processes, and that is source-to-pay software. So that is, I need something in the world, and I have to communicate about it, and I have to track those materials, and I have to pay for them, and I need to make sure, they get to the right place.
Explaining that.
Right? And then third-party logistics, where for a lot of our customers, they are thinking about engineering processes to make great products, and then the other side of their business is building those great products. And because we have a lot of sub-assemblies, like, for example, a circuit board, PCBA, managing those materials, critical materials that need to be very carefully maintained, both physically and in their lot traceability for high compliance industries. That's not their core competency. We work as a branch of their organization supporting them. So that's sort of the 2 pillars. Yeah.
Thank you for the layman's explanation of that.
Okay, perfect.
We help companies buy things, and we help people store things, and then we help people ship things to where they need to go.
But you're a standalone solution. You're not a bolt-on to somebody else's MES or ERP system.
No, we work great with those. I would say, so if you look at a company that's just trying to move really, really fast, so like I'm a startup, I'm trying to make a drone, I'm trying to get it to market. Cofactr can be a great tool when you are really operating lean, where I've got an engineer, and that engineer basically has to do their own buying, and we need that traceability, and I need to get everything to the line ASAP. We can jump right in, and that's a really fast solution that can unlock a lot of opportunity. For larger companies, we will integrate with their PLM or their CAD environment, so we can pull requirements and pull bills of materials and pull designs out of those software suites. We can then compare them to distributors and vendors that are mostly domestic, but certainly international represented, specifically in electronics, highlight any risk. And then we also integrate with ERPs. So if you're sitting on NetSuite or SAP and you need those POs and those invoices and those packing slips, which are all part of this procurement process, to live in a financial record, or if you are creating new products and you go, I need an item record in my ERP and I need to be able to create demand off of that, we can also do that. So there's a lot of data process that we will click into when we are working for a larger company.
So in the shopping portion, using your tool, can someone then actually click a button and get those parts ordered through you? Or is it just equipping them to be like, this is the information, go off on your own?
We can do the shopping for you if you need that service, or you can use our tool to do your own shopping.
Yeah, so it depends on how you want to configure it. So the easiest, simplest one is I would like to have one PO that goes to Cofactr because I am just trying to get this done as fast as possible. And we will buy on your behalf with total transparency, tell you exactly where those materials come from before we buy them. We'll give you all the documentation, the compliance doc, COO, everything that will live in a digital record forever. We will receive those materials. We will count those materials. We will inventory those materials. We will kit those materials. We will label those materials for you and then ship them to you or your manufacturer. So this is the easiest one. Like, I want the box of stuff. I need it to be there at this time. Go. We can also integrate where we are in your email system and we are sending emails to your vendors, to your reps. We're receiving those emails back from those reps. We're using AI to parse them and highlight, hey, something's been delayed, it's a partial shipment. So we can be sort of supply chain intelligence and monitoring for everything that you're buying. Or we've got sort of the I need to turn this real quick. So really wide variety on how we can configure that for our customers.
Who's an ideal customer and where do you want to meet them? At what time of their journey in developing electronic hardware do you want to start talking about?
I would say that the right time to meet is any time that you're just actively developing something, right? This is a thing where we'll talk to a company and there's not in NPI currently. They're not really in an engineering cycle, which gives them time to think about maybe new technologies. But it's really hard to see any value if you're not using something. So if you're in that NPI phase, if you're sort of early on in that, you're making component selections and you want to be really responsible and see that happen with better outcomes, I think that's a great time to engage with us. Our ideal customers tend to be higher compliance, lower volume. There are great services that are provided by large EMSs. CMs will take on a lot of this responsibility. They will hold stock for you. They will bear the responsibility of a lot of that supply chain, which is an amazing thing. Unfortunately, there just isn't as compelling a monetary reason for one of the big EMSs or anyone to say, well, you're making a rocket ship. It's one rocket ship, man. I'm just not going to take on a bunch of risk because that's not a high volume job. It's just not profitable for me. And so you have this challenge where the stuff that's really, really important to the world is often low volume. And so it's kind of a non-ideal customer for really the manufacturing ecosystem. That's where we can really shine because they also need the documentation, they need the traceability, and that's all just part of what we do. It's built in. And so if you're making satellites, A&D, if you're automotive, robotics, agriculture, energy, that's where we really shine.
But even across all of these prototypes.
Totally. And that is another great use case. I think that really comes down to the strategy of the individual organization because unfortunately, even right now, a lot of that is being pushed to foreign markets because test engineers are cheaper. And so if you're domestically manufacturing, certainly in that NPI phase until you've sort of gone through tests and now you're ramping to production, another great use case. And we work with some really large OEMs supporting them in that way.
It's so unclear. This is a single platform solution or this is a suite of tools?
It is a single platform. We definitely have users that engage in different ways. So an engineering function, maybe we're just tied into their PLM, so we're just pulling bills of material out of Arena, and only the engineering manager is reviewing inside of Cofactr to see, are my engineers making choices that I would support? Are they using parts that already have internal part numbers? Is there risk associated with these parts? Whatever. A procurement function, you might have engineers making requests for procurement of materials that gets approved by someone else in the chain. They might have the ability to put rails around the buying processes, right? So a procurement leader might have a lot of sort of access to more the, okay, it's a requisition, I'm authorizing it, I'm initiating the buy. And then on the other side, there's all the financial documentation. So every now and then we might get like a sort of financial leader going and poking around a little bit to understand, is this team operating in a way that is compliant to what our standards are, since often engineering functions will move fast and you want to make sure that everything's going okay and that your vendor relationships are healthy. So it kind of depends how you interact with it, but it is certainly all one single tool that allows you to discover vendors, assess risk, do the procurement, track those materials, and have that documentation forever.
So if I'm purchasing a license,
Yes.
there will be a whole host of these things that I can do inside of that license.
Yes.
And it's just really up to me which ones I'm going to use and which ones I'm going to ignore.
Yeah, and we have a lot of controls around the actual user seats, and so whether or not you want someone to be able to write into a BOM, right, and change that engineering data, or if you want them to be able to spend money, right, all these permissions are really specific, and there's kind of a happy path. Like if you were like, I have seat, I need to make thing, there's a really direct sort of linear, easy way to do it. It's really when you start saying, okay, we've got several team members across the org that need to engage in different ways, that it sort of becomes a more expansive thing because you have layers of approval and certain controls in place. So depends on your use case. We can serve an individual or a very large team where you're being hyper focused in your use.
How are you using AI in this? Any data processing, any decision making, and if so, what kind of AI are you using?
So most of the AI. So we're ITAR. We're running on GovCloud. So because of the compliance issues or compliance challenges, a lot of our customers' realities there. Our main use of AI is an incredibly boring one, where on AWS GovCloud, we have stood up models that are running in the compliant environment, where we can receive emails, receive bombs, parse those up, and make sure that there's no export controlled information that's being in any way exposed to the public internet or would potentially be compromising the well-being of the IP or the legality of any of our customers. And so it's really just taking emails and bills of material and being able to utilize AI to make sure that your financial records are up to date, that you got the confirmation from that vendor that in fact it is being shipped, that it's going to arrive by the expected day at the dock so that you can manufacture, or that we are taking your bills of material and saying that part is in fact this part on the public market and you can buy it, right? So it's really, really simple uses of AI that have a lot of impact, because if you're a large organization and you're making hundreds or thousands of buys, over any period of time, that's just a huge amount of information. And not having to do all the heavy bomb scrubbing and sort of worrying about the security side of that's where the AI really shines. Is you barely feel it, but it feels like magic.
One of our customers said recently, though, that they use the AI, the doc AI functionality in the platform, specifically saving the time of all the back and forth that normally would take about 3 procurement professionals to perform, that they can do in about an hour with our doc AI, which is pretty incredible statistics.
Yeah, so it's like, it's emails.
Your job destroyers. Got it. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's not our goal.
Now those 3 people can do more.
They can do other things.
Yeah.
It's saving the engineers that used to do all of the procurement on certain projects all the time spent trying to find those parts, reading emails, sending out RFQs, all of that, requisitions, and now they don't have to.
Well, and if you're a procurement leader and you're having to track down parts because somebody delivered it to the wrong place or there was a decommit, that is not the best use of your time. you probably want to be using your incredibly capable brain to go to vendors, try to create opportunities for cost down, have better results for the company, right? And I think that's the thing that we actually see is we take someone who's having trouble sleeping at night because they are trying to get a satellite in space. And they are very, very aware of how important every one of these parts is to successfully getting a satellite in space. And we shift them into an opportunity where they can sleep at night and be more strategic and help facilitate better outcomes for those companies.
And for the record, when Phil said you're incredibly competent brain, he was looking at Jeffrey, but he was talking to me.
Indeed, yes. No, Jeffrey and I are silly little boys.
If somebody wanted to reach out and talk to you about this, how would they get in touch with you? Who should they get in touch with?
Cofactr.com has Cofactr.com has a million little buttons that say get in touch, learn more, etc. You can always email sales@cofactr.com if you want to skip the website. But really anything at cofactr.com will somehow get to us. So yeah, scream into the night, whatever you need to do. And we're at lots of conferences. We are at lots and lots of conferences.
Should we go knock on your door?
Ideally, yeah. Should I give my personal address? I should probably give my personal address. Okay, cool.
Also, Phil's personal phone number is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Libby.
Thank you.
Wish you guys best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Mike.